Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to do our weekly review of some of the races over the weekend. A little bit later this week due to I had a wisdom tooth that was horizontal taken out on Sunday, and yeah, Monday and Tuesday was rather painful. I still can't open my mouth properly, and if I put my camera on, you would see that one side of my face is like massive. It's so swollen still. But anyway, let's talk about the racing. We'll start off with a positive result for us was Sir Alan winning the novice hurdle at Naas. Highlighted before the race that obviously we all know this was the race that generally 3 of the last 4 winners of the Boodles Juvenile Handicap Hurdle have won this race en route. It was quite a good performance from Sir Alan as well, because a couple of them they did go past Sir Alan. Sir Alan really had to battle late on to get back up to win, and I just thought that was a bit of showed a bit of strength and the ability to battle for Sir Alan, which would certainly stand him in good stead for the Boodles Juvenile Handicap Hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival. He has shortened, obviously. He is now like nearly second favourite between 8s and 10s, and he did actually make my each way treble that I've just posted on YouTube as well. So yeah, that was a good result. Of those behind, I think Sir Alan will beat these again next time. I think the jockey, Mr. Ryan, just got caught out a little bit by the 2 that came past before battling back and realising, getting after Sir Alan, and Sir Alan did run them down. Moving on to the listed Mares Hurdle. Obviously, we wasn't really interested in anything at the front. The horse we were keeping our eye on was Indefatigable, and she finished 3rd, never got close enough, was never good enough to win this race. But she has now dropped £3 to 139. You'll notice I post these threads highlighting horses that have dropped in a handicap and where they could be going. Each week when the handicap marks come out on a Tuesday, I do it for the chases and for hurdles. And Indefatigable has caught my eye again. She's now £6 lower than when winning the Martin Pipe Handicap Hurdle. Her last 2 runs over hurdles over 2.5 mile in handicaps were the first in the Martin Pipe and a second when beaten a neck by Martello Sky. If she runs in a handicap over 2.5 mile, preferably at Cheltenham, surely she's got a massive chance. Crazy chance, to be honest. And let's just load up a couple of those races very quickly. She could run in the Coral Cup, or she could run in the Martin Pipe again. And let's see if we can find her in any of these. She's going to be a big price in both because, she's been disappointing. But in races that are too good for her, and she's actually not in the betting for the Coral Cup, but she is for the Martin Pipe, I believe. Let's just quickly find her. Where are you? Let's do a search. Whoops, need to spell it right, don't I? There we go. 33 to 1. She's 33 to 1. 25s and 33s. Is that non-run no bet? It is. Do you know what? 25 to 1 for the Martin Pipe for a horse that has won it is ridiculously well handicapped. I actually think that's quite a good bet. And if Paul Webber decides that he doesn't want to run her in the Martin Pipe, then, I think he makes a mistake, but you get your money back. So I actually think she's a good bet in that. Moving on to the 240 at Warwick, which ended up being a 2-runner race between John Bon and Calico. And when John Bon jumped a fence slowly, Calico nipped up the inside, and Harry just went forward a couple of lengths. It's at that point, how good would it have been if, the trainers could be in communication with their jockeys and able to tell the jockeys what's going on behind, with an earpiece or something. And, if I was talking to Harry Skelton, I'd said, go for it. Go. Try and kick 3 lengths, 4 lengths, 5 lengths clear. John Bon was slow. John Bon, he's not got it all together yet. Kick away and see if you can hang on. I think it would make some quite interesting mid-race moves if that was allowed. Communication with the jockey throughout the race. Similar to what they do in Formula 1. So they can't say, oh, well, they're going too fast on horses. Formula One, they go a bit quicker than that, don't they? But they have, you know, or so-and-so's up behind you, you need to go a bit faster, or look after your tyres, blah, blah, blah. You could be saying that to a jockey, you know, make your move now because so-and-so's off the bridle, right at the back, etc. The actual performance from John Bon, yeah, El Fabiolo's going to win that champion chase. The Arkle, sorry. El Fabiolo will win it. Dysart Dynamo will go forward, set it up for El Fabiolo, who will show his strength and stamina later on and win that. John Bon might finish second, but El Fabiolo wins that. I'm pretty confident on that now, especially as they've announced that Dysart Dynamo will be going for the Arkle. Moving on to the 245, the handicap chase, where our Mr. Coffee finished second. He has got a bit of a habit of finishing second. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds in his last 6 runs. Interestingly, so he was meant to jump out and make all the running. And I think they thought he would win, based on the post-race comments from Nick Henderson. Now, he had suggested that they were going for the National Hunt Chase, where he is currently between 7 and 10 to 1. He went up just £5 for that second. Now, I think they thought they were going to win and probably go up £6, £7, £8 and be out of the Kinmure. But because he's not out of the Kinmure, he's still in that 0 to 145 bracket, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he ran him in the Kinmure. He's mentioned in a recent publication, Nick Anderson, that I'm worried about the Mullins horses. Well, these two are both Mullins. You're going to come up against one of those if you run Mr. Coffee in there. And you can see that whichever one goes in it is going to be quite a short price favourite. If we look at the Kinmure, there is no Mullins danger. It's going to be the Burns horse that could be well handicapped, or some other just reasonable horses. I think Manila Crooner might be, or it might be Gordon Elliott, I can't remember. But there's the fact that there's no clear 6 to 5 or 5 to 2. You know, look at the prices of these two compared to the favourite of the Kinmure. Mr. Coffee has a better chance in the Kinmure than he does in the National Hunt Chase. He's never proven himself over this sort of trip. He finished second in the Kinmure last year. When I thought Sam gave him a poor ride, he should have gone a little bit earlier. And Derek O'Connor could ride him in the Kinmure, obviously. I think he'll end up in the Kinmure, not the National Hunt Chase, and people will moan. But yeah, I think, you know, those two at the head of the market, one of those will run and one of those will take all of the beating, whereas in the Kinmure it's a much more open race, and I think that would suit Mr. Coffee more. Moving on to the Betfair Hurdle, there's a few here that I want to talk about. Oaken Risk dropped down hurdles, won it, very impressive. Just hung on from Filey Bay, the pair well clear. Filey Bay is obviously going to be a short price favourite for the County Hurdle, I think he is. He's short price. Gaelic Warrior won't be running there. There's a few here that won't end up in this County Hurdle. But if we just have a look at those in behind. So Rabaul was far too keen. Far too keen. Probably lacked a little bit of experience in this type of race. And I think the race just didn't work out for him. Don't give up on him. Don't give up on Rabaul at all. I think we might see him in the Imperial Cup at Sandown. Another feature race. Probably a little bit easier than this race. But going the same direction as his good run at Kempton, you know, right-handed, I think that will really suit him. And it wouldn't surprise me to see Rabaul in the Imperial Cup next. It wasn't the worst run in the world. A few others behind that caught my eye. Glory and Fortune has dropped £4 to 144, which is only £1 higher than when winning the Betfair Hurdle last year. I know the trainer really fancied him for this. He said, I expect him to run a really big race and I'll be disappointed if we don't win it again. You can see these R figures, they were good. The win, and then his 5th place at Cheltenham. He was 5th in a champion hurdle. If a 5th place in a champion hurdle turns up in a county hurdle off 144, that'd be really interesting. Now, I have just tipped up a horse for the county hurdle in an each-way treble in West Cork. That's purely on that I don't know if Glory and Fortune will run in the county hurdle. If he does, he's going to go very, very close for sure. And he's actually a really big price. Down here, 25 to 1. 25 to 1 for a county hurdle for a horse that finished 5th in a champion hurdle and has won a Betfair hurdle. This was a poor run. Ignore that. You know, the ground might have gone against him. We've got it down as good. I think a lot of places have it down as good, and yet the Times were suggesting it was nearer firm. That might have been the reason for Glory and Fortune running such a poor race. If you can forgive him that run, he's a ridiculous price for the county hurdle. Another one that caught my eye here that ran a disappointing race was Favois. Now, Favois pulled up, and it was disappointing. But again, if we look at the R figures, there's this really big R figure here. And this was at Kelso, where we'd also finished third. Where is it? Must have been a few runs ago. He'd also finished third the year before. Now, if we have a look, Favois dropped £4 to 134. He finished third in 2 consecutive Morebattle Hurdles, behind the Shunter and Night Edition, and Cormier and Saint Deroux, off 143. He could run in this Morebattle Hurdle off 134. £9 lower, I think he would go really, really close in that. And then they'd probably run him in the county hurdle. And you know, Dan Skelton could have 2 or 3 in the county hurdle. He could have Pembroke, he could have West Cork, he could have Favois, all running in the county hurdle with big, big chances. I really like Favois for the Morebattle, so keep an eye out for him. The final horse I wanted to talk about from this race finished 8th. He ran okay. It was a bit of a moderate rate run for him, but that was Tritonic. But he's now disappointed in 2 Betfair hurdles, and that's probably not his race. Probably wants to go the other way. I think he's better going right-handed than he is left-handed, and he's only 6. So don't give up on him, especially next season. There's the Greatwood Hurdle. I know that's actually the wrong way. But there's the Betfair Exchange Trophy at Ascot, which he won a few years ago. I think he'll be back for it. It's good prize money, 60 grand. He's only 6. I think they'll drop him back to the flat now. Give him a flat campaign before coming back for the Betfair Exchange Trophy at Ascot in, I think it's December of this year. A few more to talk about. Billaway. Billaway won the Hunter's Chase, got back to winning ways. I still really like him for the Hunter Chase. There's a few in here that are good, you know, Vorslet and Winged Leader, but Billaway ran them down last year, or did he run down Vorslet? I think they'll be back again this year with Billaway. He's their number 1 Hunter Chaser, and I think he goes really, really close in it again. And the final race I wanted to talk about was this one here. I think this probably may have shown the best bumper horse this year in England, and that was As Luck Goes. Now, I think he went off 8 to 1 purely because he's trained by Ben Brookhouse now. He used to be with Ian Williams, and even then he wouldn't have been the price that he should have been because of connections. If this was trained by Paul Nicholls or Nick Henderson or even in Ireland in Willie Mullins or Gordon Elliott, I think it'd be a lot shorter price, particularly in the bumper itself, where he is, I think he's 33s or 25s. Let's have a quick look. As Luck Goes, 25s, 33s at Betway, but 25s at bookies you can get bets on. I think that's not a bad price for him in the champion bumper, to be honest. I think that was a really good performance. And yeah, I think, you know, he's 3 from 3. He's doing nothing wrong. He's won at Worcester. He's won at Fontwell. He's now won at Newbury. He's going the right way. He's got the experience. And yeah, I think he'll run a really big race in the champion hurdle. We can see Indefatigable with 33s. So there's just a few that I'm interested in. So we're on Sir Alan for the Boodles, which I'm pleased he won. Indefatigable, wherever that horse turns up in the Coral Cup or the Martin Pipe, has got to be on your shortlist. I don't think John Bond can win the Arkle. I think El Fabiola will win the Arkle now. Mr. Coffee, I think they might change and go for the Kim Muir. Despite, you know, that's what I've been calling for all season, is the Kim Muir. And then last weekend, or just before the weekend, Nick Henderson said we're going for the National Hunt Challenge Cup, whatever it's called. I hope they revert back to the Kim Muir now. Don't give up on Rabaul, look for the Imperial Cup. Glory and Fortune, County Hurdle. Favois for the Morebattle Hurdle at Kelso. And Tritonic when he goes back over hurdles, probably at Ascot. Billaway, I still think goes really well in the Hunter Chase at Cheltenham. And As Luck Goes, I think is a decent bet for the Cheltenham Champion Bumper I think that was a good performance. So there's just a few thoughts from the weekend. The next video or videos that are going to come is me talking about all of those that I've talked about for the handicaps. So like the Martin Pipe, I think I've actually highlighted 6 in total, but I'll go over them, who I think is and isn't going to run, who I think has got a good chance, and yeah, see if we can narrow it down a little bit further. If not, we'll just, be talking about 4 or 5 for the race. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of your week.